What's going on, everybody? My name is Monster, and welcome to episode 2 of Coach Profiles, the series where we interview coaches so you guys can get to know them a little bit better. On this episode, we have a good friend of mine that I've known for quite a while now, Rudiger67, or Dom. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How you doing, Austin?
I'm all right. Just got off work about almost 2 hours ago now. Just been chilling, but
Nice, very nice.
yeah, I'm excited to do this interview because I've known you since we've been in UPBA, but I don't know that much about you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is true.
All right. So to get right into it, how did you get into Draft League?
Well, I first got into Draft League from actually watching Nappy and Shady with the UCL way back in the day when the first season came around. So I was watching their battle videos, and that's what kind of started to grab my interest for it. And then I slowly progressed on to watch other people. Like I started watching Shady's Season 5 GBA, and the match where he lost to Dan, or AKA A-Drive, as many of you know, that's when I started watching A-Drive. And watching him win the Season 5 championship in GBA made me want to learn even more about Draft League. So since then, I've been following him, and then I've started following guys like Pokemon, Crimson Seabad, MV, Chimpact. I might have repeated one of them. I'm not sure, but you get the gist. Like most of the GBA coaches, and so when I was in a Drive server, I was actually looking for some showdown leagues that I can just spectate because at the time I was in my senior year of college, so I was more focused on that. And that's how I met Ian, and he told me that I could spectate for his league that he was in, which was the UPBA. And so I watched for a few weeks, and then actually I think it was 2 weeks after I was in that server when he asked me if I would like to take over for Safernape's team, and here I am now.
Nice. So you kind of took the same route that Jed took by watching content creators first, and then getting that interest, and then actually doing Draft League, and you replaced the coach in UPBA. So yeah, a lot like Jed in that sense, I think, which is cool.
Yeah, for the most part.
All right, next question. How many leagues have you been in, and what were your results?
So, as I mentioned, my first league was the UPBA when I took over for Safernape. It was going into week 4, I believe. It was either week 3 or week 4 that I took over. And I finished out the season with a record of 9-3, which at the time, record was 1. Okay, yeah, I did take over week 3 because his record was 1-1 prior. And I took the majority of his team that he had up to a 9-3 record, and we made playoffs. Unfortunately, lost in the first round, but I was still really happy with myself. And then after that, I was in the UPC, which was a brand new league also. And I was in there for a few weeks, but given the time that I joined, it was kind of rough doing UPBA and the UPC, so I decided to drop out of there after the third week. I was 1-2, but we had come off a win, so it wasn't anything too big. And then the short-lived UPBA Season 2, I ended up going 1-2. And even though I had Naganadel on the team, I was really confident in my draft for that season, but unfortunately, things had to take a turn. And then now we're here in the AABL, sitting at 5-2, hopefully going to be pushing for a playoff run, so we're going to hope to continue on with that.
Nice. So not too many leagues. I think it was like 4 or 5, but
Yeah,
some good showings, and then you had some unfortunate ones where you had to drop out, and then UPBA ended and stuff like that.
yeah. Like, I'm still relatively new to the format, but I feel like just from watching all the content of Draft League that I've watched up to this point, I've gained enough knowledge to work with team building and trying to counter certain mons, and progressively I got people like yourself and then Ian and Jed all to help out too with my team building, and the four of us really, I think, have good synergy with helping each other out with team building, which is what I like, having good teamwork and chemistry there.
Yeah, for sure. I help you all the time with your teams. I actually remember that one specific build we did when I just pleaded with you to spike stack on somebody and win, and that's what you did. So
I did that, and it helped me with that win.
All right, so next question. What was your most successful Pokemon in these past leagues?
To date, since I haven't been in many leagues, my most successful Pokemon I've used is Mega Charizard X from UPBA Season 1. It had 16 kills, 9 deaths, I believe. It might have been around 8 or 9 deaths, I don't remember exactly, but it was second most in kills that league and third most in differential, so I was really happy with how that worked out. And now that I drafted it again for the NCL, I'm hoping to get similar results to that, especially with the team I built around it. I'm really pleased with how I drafted, in my opinion. So we'll just have to see how it goes about.
Mega Charizard X is definitely a threat, and I actually had no idea that your Charizard was 16 and 9 in UPBA Season 1. That's pretty wild. I remember joining UPBA and taking over a team that was like literally the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, and just playing matches until Season 2 started. It was pretty much my general knowledge of that league. I had no idea that your Charizard was actually doing that well. That's pretty insane.
Yeah, he definitely put in the work. I mean, before I took over the team, I had watched the few replays that Saferne had beforehand, and I remember his week 1, his Charizard got 5 kills straight out because he just set up 2 Dragon Dances, and even though he had a Mega Gardevoir on the opponent's team, he had Shadow Claw on his Mega Charizard X for the coverage, so that was pretty wild.
Damn. All right. So crazy Pokemon there for sure. Next question is, what is your all-time favorite Pokemon to draft?
Ooh. This one was a tough one, honestly. Like, I would like to say Mega Charizard X, but unfortunately I can't really draft. Well, I not really can't draft it every time. I could if I wanted to, but because I'm still new, I want to be able to try out all the other Megas that are viable in Draft League. But from my time with the UPBA, I would honestly say my favorite Pokemon to draft would be Rotom Wash. It's very diverse. It's mostly a defensive mon, but you can still run it as Scarf specs. You can do a trick set. You could do the utility set with Defog, Will-O-Wisp, Pain Split. So it's very versatile. And with having one real weakness to grass, which is easily covered by other Pokemon that you draft on your team, which is something that I personally really like about Rotom Wash.
Yeah, I feel you, man. I've drafted Rotom Wash twice now, I believe. I think I've looked at it more than twice in drafts, but I've definitely drafted it twice, and it's definitely a really, really solid mon. And I am personally also a very big fan of it. It was one of the main reasons I was winning some of my games in D&D.
Yeah, like back to UPBA Season 1, I think I brought it to every game, honestly, because it just filled in a role that I needed every week, which was really nice.
My D&D teams, I brought the exact same Rotom Wash set, same 4 moves, same EVs to, I think it was 7 games in a row, because it was just that good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, only having that one weakness to grass, and I mean, technically it's weak to Thousand Arrows, but again, both that move and then just grass moves in general you can cover so easily with other types of Pokemon, just given the right team composition.
Right. Okay, so Rotom Wash definitely a good pick there. Next question. What's your general opinion of your team this season in NCL?
Honestly, like, I'm not going to try and toot my own horn or anything, but I think my team is definitely top 5 for sure. Like, I really like the way that I drafted, at least with my first 6 or 7 mons. About there. I mean, I have things like Tapu Bulu, I have Zardex, I got Jirachi, I got Suicune and Cresselia for bulk, and then I have some special threats like Galvantula and Greninja. So, and then some of the lower tier mons that I have, like Gligar, Amaldo, Hitmonchan, I feel like those could put in some work as well. And then obviously Lanoon, everyone's got to be scared of Lanoon because it could just come at any point in time and try to set up a belly drum and try to E-speed sweep.
Yeah, for sure. I've actually already recorded your draft recap with Ian and Jed, and we were definitely praising your team in the beginning of the video because it's just webs with two really good wall breakers, and your Fairy Dragon Steel Core is insane. I think it's actually the best in the league for sure, and it's definitely a very, very scary team, without a doubt.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, like the options for Sticky Webs with Galvantula is nice too, but also like I mentioned this in the server too. I don't really want to try to rely on Sticky Webs because that would just be too obvious of a bring, but I want to try to like phase my opponents out, making them think I'm gonna bring it, but maybe I'll turn around and bring like a Specs Galvantula or potentially even a Scarf one depending on the matchup.
Yeah, that sounds definitely sounds like some cool tech for sure. So next question, how well do you think you'll do this season?
Just based on the team that I drafted as of now, I think this team has the potential to at least have a positive record outcome. Like, I say this in all my draft analysis videos too, because I'm still new with Draft League. My main goal isn't really to make playoffs at first. I just want to try out the mons that I drafted if I haven't tried them out before, get used to them and see how they work against other teams. That's the main goal. I mean, obviously we would like to win, but the knowledge obtaining from all these matches is what's more important for me right now. Maybe once I get more experience down the road, and we're going to try to set the bar higher and try to go for playoffs every year.
Okay, that sounds definitely sounds like a pretty reasonable goal, just to go positive and do your best. I feel you. So next question, what Pokemon do you think was tiered too high this season?
I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record because I know you guys have mentioned it prior, but honestly, looking back at it, I feel like Zeraora was tiered a little bit too high. Like, I know we allowed it in the league, and since it's a brand new Pokemon, we want to have it at tier 1, see how it works out. But just looking at the coverage moves it gets and its stats in general aren't that bad at all. Like 143 speed is pretty insane, and then the attack and special attack are pretty decent as well, being over 100 for each. But it just needs some better coverage moves in order to be an actual viable electric type. Like Hidden Power Ice and Grass Knot aren't going to really do the work against a majority of ground types. So that's really the only mon I feel like was tiered too high, but it's the first time I think it's being allowed in any sort of league, so we'll have to see how it plays out.
Yeah, for sure. I do agree that I think it should be in tier 1 right now, but down the road, like in season 3, it's probably going to be dropped down a tier. I don't think it's good enough for tier 1. But
yeah.
Yeah, so next question. What Pokemon do you think was tiered too low this season?
Tiered too low. Honestly, I don't think there was anything wrong with the tiering. I mean, seeing Gligar in tier 4 was pretty cool. Because it's a pretty decent Eviolite holder, and it's pretty bulky with Eviolite at that. So that's one of the reasons why I originally wanted Gliscor before you mentioned that you were going to get it. So I thought to myself, well, I could get Gligar because with Eviolite it's pretty much bulkier than Gliscor.
Yeah, technically speaking, with Eviolite.
Other than that, I don't. Yeah. So, I mean, other than that, I don't think there was anything to my eye, at least, that was tiered too low.
Okay, so you think Gligar
were made for season 2? It seems like everything's. Oh.
Okay, I feel you. I feel you. So next question. If you had to pick a move to have the highest kills this season, what would it be?
That'll get most kills.
Can you say that one more time for me?
Seen this?
I think you're breaking up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. You're kind of breaking up on me.
Pick it up on me too. Do you hear me good now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what happened there. But the move that I think will get the most kills, just from other leagues that I've been in, or just watching league content in general, I feel like honestly Earthquake will probably get the most kills because it's a very generic move and a lot of Pokemon carry it. I mean, it's a 100% accurate base 100 ground type move that hits pretty much anything that's not levitating or flying. So
yeah, that's definitely a really safe pick there to go with. I know Jed went with the same thing. Definitely makes a lot of sense. So next question. Of all the Pokemon drafted, which one do you think will be the kill leader this season?
I mean, that's kind of tough to say. Like, we have a good amount of pretty good battlers in our league. Like, I know that Cade's going to get one of his Pokemon to have an absurdly amount of high kills. But, I mean, I would like Mega Charizard X again to get up there with some of the highest amount of kills. But, honestly, I feel like possibly Como ran with Ian has the potential to be up there as well. Como was something I kind of was having my eye on in the draft, but since I was going to go with Megazord X anyway, I felt like having Dual Dragon wasn't the best for my team. So those are just kind of my thoughts on that.
Okay. Yeah, definitely Como on Ian's insane Aurora Veil setup sweeping team is very scary indeed.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is all I have for this interview. So yeah, that's all the questions. Hopefully you guys got to know Rudiger or Dom a little bit better. I know I did. And yeah, that's going to be it for us, guys. Thank you so much for watching the video, and have a good day.